So now that we have gotten our final chapter of this year, this is going to be a video going back to the beginning of 2024, going through every single chapter this year and looking at overall the story that we got in 2024. I'm going to go over it in detail. Hopefully it will be a thorough refresher of the story over the last year, as well as quick enough that you'll be able to see kind of as a bird's eye view everything that we learned in this year. I'm going to have a lot of panels on screen as we go through the different story beats, and I'll also have some of the artwork that I've commissioned over the year for thumbnail art and, you know, featured art piece, the stuff that shows up in each of my dedicated chapter review videos. And I will, on the screen, when each art piece is being displayed, I will have the artist specifically tagged, because usually T-Scene did my art, but Chi-Rog did quite a few pieces this year as well, so I want to make sure that you know which artist you're looking at in any given art piece, and I will have them both linked in the description of this video, so please do show them some support as well. They work hard to put out such incredible art pieces every single week, so please do show them some love. So with that, here is the year of One Piece in 2024. January. The year started off with a hug, with Bonnie seeing her father's memories, knowing what he did for her, and reconciling with an Apple Man. She has been awarded one necklace. Present day, Bonnie is held up to be killed, Luffy is hungry, and Kizaru is playing dead. Bonnie punches a spider. It doesn't work. Also, none of the Marines notice Luffy absolutely feasting in the background. Spider gave girl devil fruit. Spider killed girl's mother. Spider throws girl down to kill her too. Kuma saves his daughter. We're reminded of all Kuma has been through in life leading up to this, but more importantly, we're reminded of who he's been running for and all that's packed behind this punch. His final rebellion against the one that's caused so much pain in their lives. Kuma, the one who's been enslaved, silenced, and used as a tool, punched an immortal demon to the ground and into buildings that buried him underneath. A slave just punched the man at the pinnacle of the world for his daughter, for all that he's been running for. Bonnie gets up to see her father again, and when Saturn stands back up, the Straw Hats protect that moment. Kizaru gets up and delivers this banger line, and T-Scene and I cope hard thinking he's gonna choose his friends and turn on his overlord. A Buster Call is activated. The Straw Hats spring into action and get them off the island, and Brook is the master strategizer who thinks his plans through to the end. Kizaru breaks T-Scene and I's heart by attacking our people, and Saturn orders that the pacifistas shoot them down. Also, the Marines realize Luffy is just chillin'. What happened between the last guy realizing it and these guys? Who's to say? February. This is what Vegapunk anticipated all this time. He didn't want to see Kuma's likeness used against his daughter, so Vegapunk betrayed the world government and made Bonnie the highest authority instead. Atlas told her, and Bonnie called for help, and the pacifistas turned on the world government. Vegapunk knew what would come next. Luffy punched Kizaru out of the way, and Bonnie finally understood that the very same Straw Hat Luffy that Kuma had his eye on was Nika, the sun god. The stories her father had passed down to her, the one she had struggled to emulate, was right here in front of her. The giants crash the party, and Usopp is very happy about that. Bonnie asks Luffy to teach her how to punch, and Luffy punches an old man to make her happy. Kizaru then tries to kill a different old man, but Sanji stops him because of love or something, I don't know. Katarina touches a spider, Van Augur says they're after the world, and then they dip. And a freaking swamp fanboys and offers up the information about two of the ancient weapons to Blackbeard. Attacks are coming from all sides, but the giants are playing whack-a-mole. Appleman has changed his mind and wants to be left behind because he has something he must protect, but he just gets stabbed through once again. This makes Luffy mad. After this, we see a flat line, which starts up a video transmission sent out to the entire world. March. People around the world tune in, Dragon looks east, Luffy makes a pizza, Kizaru takes a nap, and 4 more demons arrive. Next comes chaos. A skeletal horse shuts down the pacifistas, giants chop up a worm, Zoro's a liability, a shark wrestles a swordsman, an uncanny bird harasses a cheetah, Luffy loses his scars, takes up baseball, blows some things up, the giants fight a boar, and the Iron Giant stands up. April. Appleman sips his coffee while a bird goes on a rampage. Stussy and Edison sacrifice themselves to get the Straw Hats out of there. Luffy deflates, eats, inflates. The 5 elders advance to find the transponder snail, sending out Vegapunk's message and stop the Straw Hats. In looking for the snail, Mars finds Vegapunk's brain. Well, the entire top of his head. Look at the wrinkles on his forehead. Look at the floating hair. Why? And he asks, what is death exactly? Where do our ideas truly reside? Vegapunk's message begins in earnest while the Straw Hats fight against the demons. Vegapunk refuses to label any party good or evil and admits that he doesn't even fully understand those labels himself. And as Robin and Saturn recognize each other and the Straw Hats band together to protect Robin, Vegapunk announces that the world as we know it will sink into the sea. May. People all around the world are reacting to this news. One reaction of note from Doflamingo. Vegapunk explains that the earthquakes and flooding the world just experienced are not a natural phenomenon. He then admits his first sin. In his desire to push the world into the future, he flew too close to the sun. His second sin was to research the Void Century, a crime of the highest order. And now he'll tell us what he knows. An incomplete history of a man born 900 years ago into an impossibly advanced kingdom. A man whose body stretched like the legendary sun god Nika, the first man to be called a pirate. Before the world government, as we know it, was formed, Joy Boy fought against an army made up of the 20 Kingdom Alliance. Joy Boy fought with impossibly advanced technology, the ancient weapons, and the war ended when Joy Boy was defeated, but scars were left on the world. Namely, the world sank 200 meters once before, and we now live on a piece of the continent that existed long ago. And the ancient weapons that caused so much destruction before are still in the world. The war hasn't ended. June. Emu has a big portrait he stares at. It's made abundantly clear that clones are in fact human. Wonder if that'll come back around. And York figured out that the transponder snail is hidden in the Iron Giant. Vegapunk's mission was to create an energy source that never goes out. He succeeded, but a part of the flame was stolen. That was used to activate the ancient weapon that destroyed Lulicia and the loss of many lives. But there is one crew that found out the secret and didn't tell anyone. When they learned of the true history, why didn't they tell anyone? The Straw Hats continue to fight their way out and actually seem to be succeeding, with the help of some rampaging giants. The Elders' full attention has been turned to the Iron Giant, right as Vegapunk starts to deliver his last message, this time about those that bear the name of D. Within you there is a... The Elders succeed and the signal is jammed. The distraction gave the Straw Hats and Giants a chance to get off the island and onto the boat, but as soon as they took out the Iron Giant, the Elders started pursuing them again. So Luffy tells Bonnie to emulate him and become her most free form. So she hits Luffy, and the Iron Giant pops out of the water and saves them by punching a boar. July. From here, we see a flash of Clover telling Vegapunk what he was fighting for, and then cut back to Vegapunk's recording telling us that their sacrifice brought the world this truth. An immortal demon is advancing on us, so Atlas punches her evil side and then attacks a horse. With that clear, the Iron Giant finally gets to see Joy Boy again, and he's so happy to fight for him one last time. Joy Boy's enemy is his enemy, so he decides that it's finally time to use the last defense he has. In Vegapunk's message, he tells us that those that hold the ancient weapon are after the destruction of all rare races, but to have hope in the new era, because those that refuse to bow under any kind of suppression are closest to the truth. And this is said as Luffy and Bonnie fight against the one that suppressed her and her father. Finally, we're told that the fate of the world rests in the hands of the one that finds the One Piece. August. With all that's been happening, it's easy to forget that we're still under a horrible attack, and frankly, at this point, it feels as if there's no way out. But Emmett, with joy in his heart of hearing that old rhythm one last time, unties the knot, releasing the haki that Joy Boy stored up for him for a time of danger. Now is the correct time to remind you that Emmett is the best boy and I love him so much. With another flashback, we find out that 2 weeks ago, Vegapunk learned that one of his satellites betrayed him and stole part of the Mother Flame, and he feels personally responsible for isolating Greed and not realizing that this might happen. So he sets a plan in motion to get the information out there and then make sure that York won't know that he found out about any of it or be able to tell where he hid the transponder snail. And one last thing, when it comes to the One Piece, he wants the Straw Hats to be the ones to find it. As the dust settles, the propaganda starts, and the fallout for Kizaru does too. Have you ever killed a close friend? Luffy is grieving too, but Lilith tells him that he did keep his promise to Vegapunk, and a party begins. September. The irony is that Saturn was the one that ordered the Iron Giant not to be destroyed. Edison multiplies the island clouds and Punk Records goes into the sky. Figureling Garling just marches in there and takes the spot of Saturn, and much like Vegapunk, Saturn pays the price of going against his orders in the pursuit of knowledge. Also, the satellites make a Frankenstein and call Weatheria. Elsewhere, Bart burns some flags, and there were consequences. Shanks was happy to see that Luffy has a loyal following, though. Blackbeard is making plans, Garp is confirmed still alive, but captured, and the Sunny has disappeared. In Legoland, chaos has begun. We have those who acknowledge the chaos, and those who just take it in stride and look for some food. October. After expertly navigating the Lego world, and with much skill and precision, they uncover a giant room, fight off some giant creatures, run from a giant god, and burst out of there. And we're on Elbaf. On reread, it's crazy how fast all this chaos went by, but our Legoland crew is here, and the rest of the crew is preparing to arrive, while also noting for us readers that Vivi is leaving them a message. November. We get some ominous message about how horrible Loki is, and that we should definitely not set him free. Cut to Luffy, who's getting along with Loki swimmingly, but Loki agrees to give Luffy information on Shanks if only he'll do him a little favor. But as the rest draw closer to Elbaf, the thing on their mind is of a long-awaited reunion. December. Elbaf is pretty much a land of wonders. We can ride on rainbows with painter stones, the village is gorgeous, who could possibly put this sight into words, and there's a word of warning: do not overstay your welcome here. But we'll ignore that because we have mist ships, a warrior spring, an incredible owl library. The downside to all of this beauty is that the Warland is no longer a land of warriors. King Harold was behind the reformation of the country, until Loki allegedly killed him. And I'll end this recap on Robin and Saul's reunion, mirroring their first meeting, and bringing an emotional close to the story of Robin fighting to live in a world that wanted her dead. Bless you for living, Robin. Bless you for surviving. And Saul finally gets to show Robin the research that she thought was lost and that they preserved. He's so happy that he finally gets to show her. Also, Vegapunk had a clone the whole time, and he will live on through it. And some people have arrived in Elbaf, and I'm pretty sure all the good feelings are over. And that was our year. I'm curious if seeing everything just kind of play out so quickly, if that changes your perspective on all the material that we got this year, or if it helps you to see story beats and story arcs from another perspective, getting it all so quickly, so closely together. I hope you enjoyed the video. It took me a while to put together, but it was my favorite thing. I enjoyed it so much. Please do chat with me more in the comments. I would love to continue discussing the story with you. I'll see you again soon. Bye.